It was publisher and author William Feather that said, "One of the funny things about the stock market is that every time one person buys, another sells, and both think they're astute." In this video, we're going to use stock market data to follow the daily progress of a corporate stock and write spreadsheet formulas, all to answer the question, what stock market data is available on a daily basis? To make sure we have the skills necessary for this lesson, we are going to write an expression in terms of X. The temperature at noonday was 70 degrees. Yesterday, the temperature was X degrees less than today at noon. Write an expression for the temperature yesterday at noon in terms of X. X degrees less than today would mean something minus X. But what is that something? The 70 degrees that is today. Let's see if we can write a formula for cell F6 to calculate the percent of net change for May 6. If we're looking for the percent of change from one day to the next, this means that we're going to take the entry from cell D6, subtract cell D5, and divide that by D5 in order to find what that answer would be. This means 44.37 minus 52.20 divided by 52.20. This would give us negative 0.15, but we need to convert this into a percent, which means multiplying by 100, giving us a negative 15. Before we really get going, we need to understand some vocabulary that we're going to be using in this lesson. First up, we need to know what the stock market is, and it is a general term for an institution through which stocks are bought and sold. These transactions are known as trades. The two most well-known stock markets are the New York Stock Exchange, or NYSE, and the National Association of Security Dealers Automated Quotation System, or NASDAQ. Last is the price per share of the last trade of a particular stock. In the newspaper, the last amount is usually the closing price of the day. Open, or opening price, is the first price at which the share was traded during that regular day's trading session. Close, or the closing price, is the last price at which a share of stock was traded during that regular day. High means the highest price at which one share of the stock was traded on a given day. Low is the lowest price at which one share of stock was traded on that given day. Volume is the number of shares traded in a given time period. Sometimes volume is listed as sales in 100ths. A 52-week high is the highest price at which one share was traded over the last year. A 52-week low is the lowest price one share was traded over the last year. Net change shows the change between the previous day's closing price and the current day's closing price. After-hours trading refers to trades made after the stock market closes. Let's use some stock data and follow the daily progress of a corporate stock. Here we want to find the difference between the high and low prices on May 5th. What we want to do here is subtract that day's low from that day's high. We can find that we get $3.60. Let's check your understanding by checking the difference between the high and low price on May 12th. We can see that it has a high price of $51.40 and a low of $49.90, so by subtracting the low from the high, we get $1.50. Now on May 12th, what was the actual volume of the XYZ shares that posted? And write this volume in the thousands. Now sales in the 100s indicate volume. Because volume is 100, the number of groups of 100 shares is 32,000. So we can multiply that 32,000 by 100, giving us 3,200,000. But we want to give the volume of sales given in the thousands, which means we're going to divide this by 1,000. This is going to give us 3,200 as our volume of sales. Let's check that we understand this by looking at, on May 5th, what was the actual volume of XYZ shares posted, and to write this volume in thousands. Once again, this does mean that we're going to multiply that number by 100, which would give us 2,800,000. But if we divide that number by 1,000 so that we can give our answer in the thousands, we will wind up with 2,800 as the volume of sales. So what price did XYZ Corp close on May 4th? Understanding that the change is $2.61, that means we have some value plus $2.61 that got us to the ending value of $52.20. So simply subtracting $2.61 from both sides is going to give us X is $49.59. This means that XYZ closed at $49.59 on May 4th. Let's check our understanding by seeing what price did XYZ Corp close at on May 11th. We understand that it lost $1.55 from some unknown value. This means that it closed $1.55 lower than some unknown value, but we do know that it ended at $49.98. This means if we add $1.55 to both sides, then that closing price on May 11th would be $51.53. So let's use the May 4th closing price from example 3 and the May 5th opening price to find the difference in prices as a percent of increase, and we're going to round this to the nearest percent. First, we need to remember that the closing price from May 4th was $49.59. The May 5th opening price was $50.10. Now, percent of increase is going to be equal to the open minus the close divided by the closing price, and then multiply all of that by 100. Or simply what we're going to do is $50.10 minus $49.59 divided by $49.59, and all of that multiplied by 100. This is going to give us 1.03%. Let's check our understanding by using the May 11th closing price, which was $51.53, from the previous check our understanding, and the May 12th opening price to represent the difference as a percentage of decrease. And we're going to round to the nearest 100th percent. So we've marked that it's the close at $51.53. The opening price is $50.60. So the percent of increase would be equal to the open minus close divided by close, giving us $50.60 minus $51.53 divided by $51.53, all multiplied by 100 to get a percent. And because this is decreasing, we're going to get a negative 1.8%. On May 6, XYZ Corp announced a decrease in earnings. This news caused the price of their stock to drop. It closed at $44.37. Express the net change from May 5th to May 6th as a percentage. In both cases, we're going to be looking at the close price. What we really want is May 6th minus May 5th in its close price, dividing by May 5th's close price again, and then multiplying by 100 to make this into a percentage. Or we might call it $44.37 minus $52.20 divided by $52.20, all multiplied by 100, which means that we're going to wind up with a negative 15%. Let's check our understanding on that by looking at May 13th. The XYZ Corp announced another decrease in earnings. The price of their stock dropped to close at $45.72. Express the net change from May 12th to May 13th as a percent to the nearest tenth. We're going to be looking at the May 13th minus the May 12th divided by May 12th, all times 100. Yes, I wrote 12s and 11s and simply made a mistake and I'm moving forward. This means that we're going to have $49.98 minus $45.72 divided by $45.72. Unless you set that up backwards the way I just did, and we're simply going to reverse these numbers, giving us $45.72 minus $49.98 divided by $49.98. This is going to give us a negative 8.5%. Mistakes are a part of math, and we should embrace them. Let's write some spreadsheet formulas. Let's write a formula for cell F6 to calculate the percentage of net change for May 6. In order to find this percent of change, all we're going to do is say equals, open up a parenthesis, say D6 minus D5, close that parenthesis, and divide that number by D5, which all we have to do is click on that again. But we want this to be as a percentage, so we hit the star button above the 8 for multiply, 100, and hit equals, and we're going to get a negative 15% change. Let's check our understanding by writing formulas for cell E6 and F5, which I have highlighted here on the spreadsheet. For E6, where all we're trying to find is that change, then we can say equals D6 minus D5 and hit enter and find it went down 7.83. Now, just to make things easy, let's go ahead and copy that formula and place it into E5 with a Command C and a Command C. Going over to F5. In order to figure out F5, all we have to do is say equals. We're going to use that E5 position, divide that by D4, multiply it with the star by 100, and then we're going to get our percentage. Now, if you want this percentage as only 0.1%, then you would want to go down to format that, and you're going to see that it's going to give you number options. And I would just simply say, make that 1 decimal place and hit enter. We get 5.3%.